Okay, guys, Polly B here, Sober Mean C.C.B.C. And I just wanted to talk to you guys again today a little bit about my story. Just so you guys know, with the bike, I went ahead and I put the seat stand on, and the seat, this seat is actually made from an old long skateboard. I cut it in half and I used the back part of it to mount onto the seat mount. So all I got left to do on this part here now is I need to attach the second rear wheel. I need to adjust the front wheel, the ride height on it, and then we need to start looking at the electric conversion components that I'm going to be putting onto this bike. So that will be done as soon time. I got a little bit of welding left to do on this, and then this will be going to powder coat and then coming back for final assembly. So yeah, we're getting pretty close to being done on this bike here, which is amazing. I can't wait to show you guys. So we'll get back into my story a little bit. I know where we left off. We left off where I just moved out of my parents' house. I left there and I moved over into the city with my sister. This is when everything in my life had turned completely around, upside down, inside out, and every which way you can think of. When I moved in with my sister, I was a young punk. Drinking all the time, smoking dope all the time, and I was sniffing a lot of drugs. So it's a lot of people didn't know about my sniffing addiction. I kept it to myself and I kept it hidden from everybody. People knew I was on something, but nobody knew exactly what I was on. And I kept it that way for a while because I didn't want anybody to know. But yeah, when I moved over there, I was only 14 when I left home, moved into my sister's house. And then when I went over there, I'll tell you guys a little story. There was a man across the river. There was a river between our houses, and a man across the river was yelling at us because we were being rowdy and this and that. So I started to yell back at him and this and that. And all of a sudden he said, "Well, do you want me to come over there?" So I said, "Yeah, come over, man. Come on. I got no problem with you." So then the man come over, and I'm telling you right now, he was a huge man and this and that. And I didn't back down, but I didn't really say a whole lot either because I didn't know what to think or what to do and what was going to happen. And at the end of it, he looked at me, he said, "Kid, you got balls, man, to be shooting out to me like that." And I said, "Well, I'm here. I already said something. I'm not backing down." He turned around and he offered me a job. So I said, "Sure, I'm 14 years old. I'm going to take a job, man. I need to make some money." So yada, yada, yada. Next day, I went over to his house. He threw me a backpack and a whole wad of cash and said, "Here, go sell this and make sure you come back with profit." That's when my drug dealing days started. At the age of 14, I was given about 30 grand worth of dope. I was given about 5 grand in cash, and I had a pistol with me because that was the way of life was for me back then. I really didn't know otherwise. I thought I was the coolest shit around, be doing this and going around like that. And that was really the start of me getting into drug dealing. And then that was really when the empire of me escalated, and there was a whole lot coming around at these moments. I had a ton of friends because of this, man. I had no problem getting rides to go anywhere or to do anything. People would automatically bow down to me. I felt like a king. You know what I mean? And when you're at that age doing that kind of stuff, you got no other choice but to feel that way. So that progressed like that for about three or 4 years almost. Well, actually 3 years. And at the end of it, I ended up getting caught dealing, so then I ended up getting locked up again. This was my second time being locked up in juvenile detention center when we actually used to go to a juvie jail. It's not like today where you have the youth diversion programs, which are amazing for kids and this and that. So to give them a right start. I never had a good start to life. Automatically, I was judged and profiled. Yes, some of the stuff I had to do with getting in trouble, but there was a lot that I didn't. But because of who I was and my name, that I was automatically blamed for it. And there was a couple things I'm after getting in trouble for that I had nothing to do with. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot I got in trouble for too that I did have to do with. And I got no problem admitting that. Now, am I ashamed of it? No. Am I proud of it? No either. And then at the age of 16, when I got caught, I got busted. I ended up getting a 2-year sentence. But I got out on good behavior after a year. So this is when I was 17. I just got out just before Christmas, and my brother from Ontario had come down to Newfoundland for that Christmas, and this was the first time I seen him in about, I'd say, 6, 7 years. So when he come down, and I was already up on more charges, and then they were asking for another 2 years for me. So my brother came to court and spoke with him and said, "Listen, I got him a place, I got him a job, and I want to get him out of here so I can get him out of trouble." And we made an agreement with the courts. So then, but I would have to leave within 2 days. And I'll tell you right now, it was 2 days later, I was up, gone. And that was March of 2000 is when I moved to Ontario. And it was a whole different experience for me. It was a whole new world for me. I was used to a little small town, Belle Isle, Newfoundland. Did not come to a big city. I came to Cambridge, Ontario. But I tell you right now, I've seen more traffic from the drive from the airport to Cambridge than I ever seen in my entire life in Newfoundland. So it was a whole new experience for me. So then I got up here and I started to chill. You know what I mean? I was going to work every day. You know what I mean? I never had nobody to hang out with because I didn't know anybody but my brother. So, but then we were starting to go to bars. Like every evening we'd be at the bar getting a few beers and this and that. Now I was only 18 at the time. When this, or you know what I mean? I moved up when I was 17. I just turned 18 when I got up here. And then, yeah, we were going to bars all the time. And because I was with my brother and he knew the people that owned the bar and this and that no one ever questioned me when I went in. Now don't get me wrong, I did look older than what I was. I had a full-fledged beard since the age of 13 years old. So I had look older. I had long hair, big beard. So yeah, I was a little size. I wasn't as big as I am now, but I was a little size. So that started my social life in Ontario, was at the bars, because that's when I started meeting people and starting to get to know other people. And then I started finding other people that was like me because they were at these bars. And then it didn't take me very long to find someone who was in the dope game. Yeah, it was a little hard at first when I got up here because I was going through a lot of withdrawals and this and that because I was so used to having marijuana. Even when I was in jail, we were doing just all prescriptions. And we were still sniffing drugs in there. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot more on the inside than what people thinks. So there was no shortage of me for my addiction in there. We used to make our own homemade booze inside on the inside and everything like that. Like I said, that's how you know you're a true alcoholic. Even in jail, we can't go without it. Don't get me wrong, it's not something I'm happy about, and not something I'll ever go back to again. Hopefully, by the grace of God. Right, you know what I mean? It doesn't never happen, but I've been doing my best. I've been turning my life around and everything, so everything's been working out for me. But yeah, so like I was working every day, and then I started making friends. And then once I started making friends, I started to slack off on work a little bit because I was always in drinking. I was always on the dope. So I'd be up for a couple days. And next thing you know, I'd be going into work blasted and 3 sheets to the wind. You know what I mean? It was just all stuff that you were not supposed to be doing, especially in a respectable place of a workplace. I had no respect, I guess you would say it, for others. All I cared about was me. And like anybody can tell you, in addiction and with alcoholism, you're very selfish. We are very, very selfish people. We do it just for ourselves, to make ourselves happy. Are we doing this to hurt other people? No, we are not trying to hurt other people, but we are doing this for ourselves. And I didn't choose to become an addict. I didn't choose to become an alcoholic. I chose to drink and I chose to try the drug, yes, but I did not choose to get addicted. And that's something else. It's a completely different feeling. I have no control when I have beer or drugs. I don't have any control of the amount I do. I don't have any control of what I do. So that's how I know my life is unmanageable when I'm high or drunk. I know that. Do I feel great? Yeah. I feel great. Everybody feels great when they are. But it's the after facts and the aftermath and just the low life feeling for yourself. You don't feel like you're accomplishing anything or going anywhere because we're either always stuck in the same spot or going backwards. And we're always wondering, oh, why am I going backwards? Why am I going backwards? Well, a lot of it's got to do with your habits and what you do. And like I said, a old friend of mine told me a long while ago, it's all who you got around you. Now, I didn't really understand this until I became clean and sober. Now that I'm clear headed enough, and I really do understand it, and it is so true. It is all who you got around you. Because since I started having decent people around me, and I started doing good, and I started doing good to others, good things have been happening to me. I am now doing like the AA program. I'm also doing relapse prevention every week, and I do 2 AA meetings every week. And so far, so good. By the grace of God, that's been keeping me on the straight path. I do agree with everybody wanting to change their life around. It is possible, and I am living proof that it is possible. Because for a lot of years, I thought I never had a chance of getting clean or sober. But I can always remember. I even got it tattooed on my leg here. It's the elephant, and it says, "No matter what it takes, I'm going to die clean." And I've always wanted that there, and I've always said that. And the reason why I said that is because I always wanted to be clean and sober for my kids and my family. And by the grace of God, like now, I am clean and sober. I'm going on 23 months now, clean and sober, which is an amazing accomplishment. The middle of June 19th, will be my 2-year sober date. So that will be a very big accomplishment and a good celebration for me. I'm so happy to be almost at 2 years. So yeah, but getting back to the story and where we were. So like I said, you know what I mean? I'm coming up into my 20s now, and this is where I'm pretty much on my own. Yes, I was living with my brother, but my brother had no control over me anymore. He had no influence really on me because, like I said, I was selfish. And I started to make a lot of friends up here. And within 3 years of being up here, I was back to getting in trouble. I was back to selling dope again, and back to drinking 7 days a week and doing drugs 7 days a week. It didn't matter where I went. I always had a backpack with me that had a bunch of booze, dope, and weed in it at all times, and everybody knew me for that. Like I would always like be like that and go around like that. We were driving around, man. It's shocking to say, but we were always drinking and driving, and it wasn't like a big thing back then for people, which it should have been, but it wasn't, man. And it was like it was nothing. It was second nature to us to be driving around and going from this place to that place. We'd have a cooler full of beer in the back seat. You know what I mean? On ice at all times, empties in the trunk. And we'd be driving around, going through ride programs and everything, and not getting caught, all because we had a couple coffee cups sat up there with us, and they think we were out having coffee. You know what I mean? There was always a way for us to get around something or to get through something, you know what I mean, so that we did not get caught in what we were doing. Still up to this point, a lot of my friends and family didn't even know about any of my addictions and my drug habits. They thought I was just a drinker because I would get so drunk at the end of the night that by the time I got home, I would be more drunk than I was high. So then people would just think that I was just drunk, and that's how I got away with it for years. But then it came to the point to where I was drinking 2 dozen beer a day and not getting drunk. And I mean like 2 dozen beer in a course of 4 or 5 hours. You know what I mean? And I was not, yes, I was buzzed, don't get me wrong, but I was not getting drunk. And people started to notice. They started to notice, well, geez, Paul just drank 2 dozen beer and he's still walking fine. Yeah, he could drive. You know what I mean? And I would. And I was thinking, I would do all this stuff. But it started a really bad trait for me. At 22, I got my driver's license. By the age of 25, I've lost my license, but I've been driving since I'm 14 years old.